Power 12 Digital.
It is Friday, 17th November 2023. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. At least 15 members of three major gangs remained in police custody up to last evening after a series of raids in and around Port of Spain. Police sources said the raids, described as a gang sweep, were done in response to several shootings and murders in Belmont, St. Anne's within the last several days. Police said exercises began around 12 a.m. on Thursday as officers descended on several parts of East Port of Spain, Laventil, Beetham, Sealots to round up the suspects. The suspects included a man believed to be the leader of the Six gang and remained in police custody across the country. Those arrested, sources say, are suspects in several murders, shootings, and robberies, and are expected to be placed on ID parades. Police sources were unable to confirm a final figure for the number of people held as the searches and arrests for the suspects continued late into Friday morning. The team of officers involved in the exercises, including those from the Belmont Police Station, the Bessor Police Station, the Interagency Task Force, the Guard and Emergency Branch, the Criminal Gang and Intelligence Unit, and the TNT Regiment. The exercise was sanctioned by Police Commissioner Earl Harewood Christopher and led by DCP Intelligence and Investigations Kurt Simon, ACP Crime Kent Gishwan, and ACP Tactical Support Kelvin Thomas. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, along with several regional leaders, met with His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, at the inaugural CARICOM Saudi Arabia Summit on Thursday in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Saudi's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Abdel Al-Jurar, met with CARICOM heads at the 43rd regular meeting of the Conference Heads of Government in July 2022. The proposed initiatives to deepen ties between the region and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is main on the objective. The Office of the Prime Minister said Thursday's engagement is a result of those efforts. The high-level meeting builds on strategic alliances between the Caribbean nations and Saudi Arabia and signals a commitment by all parties in the continued development of an enduring friendship and partnership. And Trinidadian-born President of the United Nations General Assembly, Ambassador Dennis Francis, says he's aware of calls from member states to reform the UN Security Council. Ambassador Francis said violence and war continues to spread in regions across the world, while the UN seems paralyzed due to largely divisions in the Security Council. Ambassador Francis made the remarks at the plenary meeting on Thursday on the question of equitable representation and on increase in the membership of the Security Council on matters related to the Security Council. Social Development Minister Donna Cox says there is a parental crisis in our country, and as a reasonable ministry, we cannot and will not give up on our responsibility to intervene and provide tangible solutions. She made the comment while delivering the feature address at the launch of the ministry's 2023 parenting workshop at the Belmont Community Center. Cox lamented the negative influence of gang leaders who often morph into surrogate parents. Also at the workshop were Permanent Secretary Ryan Ramcharan, Minister of Education Lisa Morris-Julian, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister Ayanna Webster Roy, Minister of Communication Simon de Nobrega, and Police Commissioner Earl Harewood Christopher. Christopher lamented the breakdown of discipline in schools and homes. She says the TNT Police Service was committed to working with children, youth, and communities and reintegrating juveniles into society. She said the focus should be on preparing children and youth to be productive and responsible individuals, and noted policing is not a substitute for good parenting. Attorney at Law Daniel Khan, who was instrumental in the release of Wenceslaus James, the longest-serving prisoner on death row, said government needs to decide on the death penalty. He made a statement to the media on Thursday while speaking on the 5-year battle for James's release. He said this is clearly an example of why government needs to examine whether they are keeping the death sentence as a lawful sentence in the country, and if they are not, to take immediate steps of reforming law on suitable punishment for those who are convicted of murder. He said a criminal bar association is preparing a submission to forward to a joint select committee chaired by Port of Spain South MP Keith Scotland on the need to categorize murders and pass legislation which would properly define different types of killings. He said not all killings are the same. There are issues of self-defense, provocation, mental health issues, and the government needs to examine and consider legislative reform. Apparently, overseas Palestinian telecoms companies say mobile phones and internet services have gone down across the Gaza Strip due to lack of fuel for backup generators. Telecom firms Patel and Jewel said energy sources sustaining their networks are depleted, and an internet monitor confirmed a major outage. Israel has blocked all but one delivery of fuel to Gaza since the start of the war with Hamas 5 weeks ago, but the UN says the blackout could jeopardize civil order and undermine peacekeeping efforts. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good Friday morning to you.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
To you, it is 7 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock on this, as I said, Friday, the 17th day of November. Good morning to you. Thank you so much. Of course, full casting this morning. Paul Richards, Richard Raghubar Singh, Wendell Stephen, Ruben is in the mix. My name is Steve Khan. Let's get straight into the WT and see what's happening. We got a little bit of traffic as they head towards Princestown this morning. Yeah, you got some traffic there. Of course, Chase Village towards Sugar Gorners, you've got it. And then Charlieville, you got some volume heading towards the interchange. Trin City to UE, and then pretty much clear until you get to the interchange. You got a little volume in the Port of Spain. Eastern Main Road, not too bad. Little traffic by San Juan and by 6th Avenue and Barataria. West, Mocha, Maraval, beginning to build on the saddle. Nothing out of Dago. All right, let's check our weather forecast. It is 26 degrees at Piarco International Airport. 27 at Crown Point in Tobago. And I'm just checking the Met office to see what its weather is going to be like. They have not updated it for the day, but yesterday afternoon they said partly cloudy and cloudy morning with occasional light to moderate showers will gradually give way to generally fair and at times breezy conditions during the afternoon. There's a medium 40% chance of the isolated thunderstorm, mostly fair but slightly hazy evening despite the odd shower. All right, that's your weather forecast for today. And checking some temps across our listenership. Yeah, Toronto, you're sitting at 10 degrees. Yeah, 10 and cloudy. Miami at 21 and partly cloudy. Orlando, drizzle and 21. New York, 9 and clear. Of course, Las Vegas, Formula One on this weekend, 11 degrees. It's a chilly one in Vegas. Atlanta, you're 13 and cloudy. London, 7. Tampa, 20. Washington, D.C., good morning, Chris Toussaint. 8 degrees and clear. And, of course, let's start in L.A., it is 14 degrees. All right? Yep, that's some temps across our listenership. Let's use Sanders. Hellos. First thing this morning, DJ Ray, good morning to you out in Tampa. Garth Celia, Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona. Wing B in Covington, Georgia. Rena Boodoo Jennings, yeah, in Pitti Valley this morning. Wendy and James from San Juan, morning. Carol Guevara, hope all is well. Mo Gaines, good morning to you. And Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida, good morning to you as well. Slick Money Grip, how you doing? All well? Hope all is well. Checking on WhatsApp now at 318-1021. Oliver says, good morning. Okay, that's it. So good morning to you, Paul Richards.
Morning, Steve. Good morning, Wendell.
Morning, Wendell.
Morning, gentlemen, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and listeners all over the globe. It's a rainy morning again.
It is?
It is?
Yep.
Where you are.
Arima is raining, and had some
raining in here.
Hard rain this morning up Arima.
It's not raining here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, quite warm here.
Yeah?
But Arima doesn't mean water, so.
Yeah, but it's coming down your way. I'm sure it is.
Well, that'll be good.
It looks very overcast outside. And as I said, it just started back to rain again after having stopped a bit, but it's very overcast. Anyway, we're happy to be in the land of the living. I have some birthdays. Let me get them out of the way early o'clock. Luan Muking. Happy birthday, Luan Muking. She's out there at American Airlines. Noel Long, my cousin, is the owner of B&M Homemade Ice Cream. A lot of you all will know that ice cream in St. James. Kevin James, Esther Madison. Aaron Thomas used to be a councillor at Tunapuna Piaco Corporation. Dave Kisto, who is the brother of Robert Christo, who is that Catholic priest who always singing and carrying on. He leads a very vibrant service, Robert Christo. So Dave is his brother. Charlene Clark and Tracy Lewis. She's out there at Mount Hope Hospital. My ex-sister. Happy birthday, Tracy. And yesterday, of course, was Denise Demon's birthday. And Avinash Singh, Senator Avinash Singh, who is acting as Minister of Agriculture. And yesterday, they put an article in the papers saying he's acting for Senator Fazal Karim. No, he's acting for Senator Kazim Hussein. But Anna Ramdas wrote an article. She put he's acting for Senator Fazal Karim.
I don't know. Does Anna check her work?
I just had to laugh when I see
so many.
I just had to laugh.
There was an issue with Senator Hazel Thompson a couple of weeks ago. I was at a function at UE talking about the need for the legislative change, and Senator Thompson made a presentation and referenced a sexual harassment case. And what ended up in the papers was so far from what Senator Thompson said under Anna Ramdas byline. And I'm saying, but I was there. That is not what she said.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, what is wrong with these people? Because if I wasn't there, I believe that what the papers wrote, the Express wrote under Anna Ramdas was what Senator Thompson said. But I was there for the whole thing. And I was there from before it started to when it ended. But and Senator Thompson, I was so upset because it put her in a particular light and actually opened her up to potential legal liability.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes they really don't check. But
that's why there are very few of my colleagues in the media I will actually give an interview to. And that's sad. Because the ones I speak to, I know they will report accurately what I said.
Yeah.
I just like to get a little few more likes and shares.
I remember doing an interview back in the day with a reporter. I can't remember her name, but it may come to me. And she put something completely different. I had to call her and say, what is that? I said, that's
why I'm so careful with what we say on the show.
Yeah.
You will find what I'm saying. You sure about that? Is it that? You understand?
Yeah.
Because I'm very careful to try as fast but to be accurate.
Yeah. I think her name was Rishmi, Yeah, that was her name. Because I remember that it wasn't the other Rishmi was trending after that, but her name was also Rishmi. She's gone out of the media. I don't see her name coming up anywhere at all, or hear her name calling again.
Anyway. Good morning. I want to start by sharing a nice video for Rena and others who say we only talk about negative things. Actually, I have two videos to share. One is heartwarming but sad, and one is very celebratory. And the first one is Miss Trinidad and Tobago doing a costume at the Miss Universe show, in one of the preliminary shows.
Which is tomorrow, by the way.
That's the one with the Scarlet Ibis?
Yes. Yeah. And I saw that young lady practicing dancing on stills in a really nice, heartwarming video that actually made you feel very proud. And this video is her actually performing on stills in the costume section of Miss Universe, a depiction of the Scarlet Ibis, our national bird in Trinidad, right? And I think she did a fantastic job.
The Scarlet Ibis is a small bird with long legs to help it wade through water. As they grow, the bird's color intensifies, and that brilliant red you see embodies the vibrance and passion of the people in this delegate's country. Red and unique with a long, narrow beak, it's Trinidad and Tobago! The scarlet abyss is a small bird with long legs to help it wade through water.
Isn't she doing a great job?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
I think she's done such a fantastic job as a well-designed costume, and she's
Mhm.
really doing a great job. So hats off to you.
Where is this in El Salvador, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
And Janelle Petty Commission is also a judge.
And she's a judge of this year's competition.
Oh, okay.
She sent me some videos. So
El Salvador wasn't the country that she won the crown in?
Dominican Republic.
yeah.
Dominican Republic. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
She won in the Dominican Republic.
Dominican
First
Republic.
woman of color, black woman ever to win this universe.
Yep.
And then coupled with Wendy Fitzwilliam. And of course, we also have Giselle Laurent. And we've also had several top 10 positions. So
Yep.
And those
those women maintain the beauty, boy. Way.
Yeah, boy. No kidding, huh?
They
because it
maintain
wasn't
that beauty.
surgery.
Yeah.
It wasn't surgery.
And if you can tell they had no surgery there.
It's just natural.
Natural
It
black
wasn't
beauty.
surgery to begin with. Anyway,
Nice.
so
Natural
congratulations to that young lady. I don't know her name, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't see her name either in that video that I saw shared too. I didn't see her name.
So just wanted to start with some uplifting news just for Rena and others. So we focus so much on negativity.
But we also I was also proud of and happy that we had interviewed Corporal Dane Marie Marshall to bring a different perspective on policing too, and the good news that some police officers do. So I mean we talk about the bad things they do, but
we have celebrated the successes they've had over the last couple of months continuously.
We have.
Some people jump out themselves, so it's just kind of strips because like they wanted to talk about the blue skies and the moon for the trees fall of the moon all the time.
Well,
we are here to keep people updated, informed, and entertained in some cases.
Yeah, as bad as
that is the work. Okay. Speaking of that, Police Commissioner earlier here with Christopher was at what is it? I think a launch of the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services parenting conference or something like that. I'm trying to get the correct. All right. She was at the Belmont Community Center where the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services was launching a program. I think they're parenting workshops, right? That's what it is, 2023. And of course, Minister Donna Cox, lamented the negative influence of gang leaders who often morph into surrogate parents. The persons who attended the launch included Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Ryan Ramcharan, Minister in the Ministry of Education, Lisa Morris-Julian, Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Alan Webster Roy, and Communication Minister, Simon Ninobrega, and Police Commissioner Erla Hayward Christopher, And Commissioner Hayward Christopher, in addition to telling the media no interviews, like she feels she could continue like that. She said, policing is not a substitute for parenting. And don't blame the police for crime. Blame bad parenting. Erla. Erla, I agree with you in principle. We never said, nobody ever says the police cause crime. We're not blaming the police for causing crime. Well, most of the police are causing crime. Because there are some police doing crime.
Yes.
Okay? Let's start with that. The young lady's name is Faith Jellizo. Right? Thank you for that, Carol.
Yeah.
Right? And nobody's blaming the police for causing crime. What we do is chastise the police for not doing their job effectively, which we have a right to do.
Yeah. Here was the irony.
Rates are low. Your sovereignty rates are low, and you have corrupt officers helping criminals.
Plenty.
Okay.
Here was the irony, though, of the statement, Paul and Steve, that of the 7,000 police officers, quite a bit, if not 50% at least, are parents. So what does that say? If you're blaming bad parenting, you also have police officers who are parents. So are you saying you have black police officers
I
too?
understand the context in which she was saying it because she was saying it at the launch of a parenting workshop.
Mm-hmm.
But context, Ella.
Yeah.
Do your work. Stop deflecting.
Yeah, don't
Okay?
make
Do
excuses for
your
black
work.
policing.
Do your work. And to be fair, let's congratulate them again. They run an exercise from Thursday into Friday where they rounded up just over 15 reputed gang leaders who they're interrogating now. So you see, we are actually celebrating the works that you're doing, even when you're talking stupidness sometimes. 15 members from 3 major gangs remained in police custody up to late last evening after a series of raids in around Port of Spain in what police describe as a gang sweep. So we celebrate it when you're doing good stuff. What would be interesting if you have evidence to hold them, to keep them.
Yeah.
That's the next thing. Holding them is one thing. Gathering the evidence to keep them in custody is something else, which is where very often you fall short. And even the judiciary has spoken on this way. You depend too much on witness statement evidence as opposed to forensic scientific evidence. So your cases fall through because only 5% of the cases you take to court are prosecuted successfully. Who is that parenting fault? Your detection rate is 14 or under percent. That's parents' fault.
Commissioner. Let's give her a title.
Sorry, Commissioner. Madam Commissioner. I apologize.
Commissioner. Yeah, cool it. Chill out.
Madam Commissioner. Madam Commissioner. Stop deflecting.
Yeah.
We spoke on Wednesday about 2 young men who were killed in Bonnier.
Yeah.
And from all accounts, one of these young men had started on the rough path, went to Milat and turned his life around. And his 15-year-old friend also didn't seem to be in any trouble. According to reports, they seem to have been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, they went to the car to buy something.
Some miscreant rolled by and opened fire and killed them. Something came across my feed yesterday that warmed but broke my heart at the same time. So I downloaded it and I want to share it. The young man's name, the 18-year-old's name is Olan Jones. And from all accounts, this young man had started off pretty rough. He lost his mother very young. His father didn't seem to have been around very much, if at all. He got into some trouble, but ended up in Milat and turned his life around. He gave a testimony on graduating from Milat, which we're going to share with you now.
Yeah.
That is going to warm your heart and break your heart at the same time. This is 18-year-old Olan Jones.
Born in Gardens, Fish Tree, and I never really had luxurious things. I never had material things. I never had food. My father wasn't around, and there was a lot of negative influences around, but that didn't stop me from pushing towards singing. At the point my mother was alive, my mother was my greatest motivation before she passed. My mother passed away from pulmonary fibrosis, and she passed right in front of my eye. That was the greatest traumatic experience that I ever encountered, that I feel I will ever encounter. That hit me dearly. That was my awakening. And from there on, everything started to go downhill. And I have been from institution to institution to institution, and I truly needed this intervention. I truly needed this program, the Milat program. And Milat has showed me that I have been surviving the wrong way, the way that I've been taught from the streets. And I now know that I don't have to survive, I can live in life and not survive. I don't have to fight everyone. Everyone is not fighting me. The Milat program is a very good program. the Milot program shouldn't just be recommended to a juvenile or a misbehaving youth or a child in school that his behavior is not becoming of a young man. The Milot program is not for children that misbehave or young adults that have no control. The Milot program can help give you a firm foundation in life. Milot is a good choice. My name is Olan Jones, and I'm from batch 2201, and that was my story.
And that is straight from memory, eh? He's not reading any text there.
But there are edits in it. Okay. You might not have seen the edits in it, but that's all right. The young man is so articulate.
Yeah.
So well spoken. His vocabulary was exceptional. He presented himself so well, and he's now no more.
Yeah. Yes. Imagine that, yeah?
He is now no more. And all he had to do was be guided in the right direction. And when I saw that, I looked at that about 5 times. And I'm just saying, what a waste of a wonderful human being with so much potential that somebody drove by and ended his life after he put work into reconstructing his life.
Yes. Yes.
It is just so sad.
It is extremely sad. I mean, his story is so positive and his end is so sad. You know? Because that story could be used over and over and over again.
Over and over again.
For the people for youth in Trinidad and Tobago.
That there is another way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope the ministry and the Minister of National Security and the Minister of Education and the Minister of Social Development and the Prime Minister and the Minister of Communication take videos like that. Let other young men and women who have been, because we've spoken about that program over and over, it is a fantastic program.
Yeah.
And use those videos to inspire other young people. Let his death not be in vain. Let that video be his legacy. Please. Please. Correct. Young man, you're going to the great beyond, but I will tell you, thank you.
Yeah. Condolences to his family. Where was he from? Aruka? Is Aruka area? Right? Yeah. He was one of the 2 young men who went to the parlor, right?
Yeah.
Who went by the parlor, like young men do. They go by the parlor and chill out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Father. So an attorney is asking the state, Daniel Khan, for the state. He was the attorney. Thank you, Mel. That's Melissa. Good morning, Melissa. One of the attorneys, or the main attorney, I should say, who was instrumental in the release of Wenceslas James, who I interviewed some time ago, who was the longest serving prisoner on death row. And he said the government should make up their mind about death row. And the Criminal Bar Association is preparing submissions to forward to the GSC National Security, chaired by MP Keith Scotland, to categorize murders, to change legislation that would probably define different types of killings. But it actually is there, you know. But I mean, I guess he wants it to be more extensive, you know, so that people who may be found guilty of murder under certain circumstances, but to my knowledge, it's there, but probably not extensively enough for provocation, self-defense, you know.
Yes,
That's why they call it something manslaughter, isn't it? Richard is the attorney. I guess he could tell us.
Richard has been advocating that too, you know, for quite a while, you know.
Yeah.
Especially when he was advocating for bail for murder.
Yeah. He also said not all killings are the same. Mental health issues, self-defense, provocation, and government needs to consider legislative reform. And if we do have the death penalty being activated, take it off the books.
Yeah.
You understand? So that was one or two questions I thought of this morning. That, and if you agree with a screenshot, the COP, the Commissioner of Police, saying that bad parenting and not cops are to blame for crime, which I think is a rhetorical question. Nobody's blaming police for crime, Madam Commissioner.
Yeah.
I don't know. She just has a poor communication style. That's all it is, I guess. She
Well,
probably means well.
she's reading, so somebody's writing.
You have to be able to identify if it's bad communication. Ask the former CEO of TSTT. No, because she read it too. The former CEO is an attorney at law, very bright woman. You understand? But if the communication is written poorly and you accept it and you go and spit it out, you're just as culpable because you're endorsing it. You understand? You have to know what you want to say and how you want to say it. Yeah. So so when she said when the commission, but to be fair, again, I didn't hear her whole thing, and this may have just been the part that the media took out.
You mean Miss Christopher?
Yeah, Miss Christopher.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, as I always say,
because Donna Cox, Senator Cox actually gave examples. She's saying because parents would say when they get a notification that there's no school today, they would say, "So what I go do with my child?" You know. So she was saying too that there are those type of parents who actually depend on schools to babysit the child.
And
morning, guys.
Progressive countries, because I've cited this already in Parliament. The state is aware that there are vulnerable families who fall below the poverty line, who depend on the system to help them take care of their children.
Yes.
Not all parents have the same resources. That is why,
including the school feeding program.
25 years ago, in the UK, they realized that there was a burgeoning single mother crisis. So the state intervened so that the crisis that was developing, for many different reasons, did not end up being something that facilitated children who are the children of these single mothers going awry and ending up in crime. The state has to be proactive and look at trends and mitigate. That is why it's called the state, and it has control of all the resources, as opposed to just blaming after it happened. End of rant. You understand?
Yeah.
So yes, there are parents who depend on the school, believe it or not, to help them take care of the child. Fact. So what are you going to do about it? Continue to blame them or put systems in place to help them? Or they shouldn't have had them trained by themselves if they know they could not take care of children. That's the next response.
Oh God, I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I
mean, come on, let's evolve a little bit now. Jeez. And what they're saying is not wrong, you know. But the responses to the situations are not progressive, in my opinion. Because if we don't intervene, we'll be saying the same thing 20 years from now. Do we want to be doing that? And I think this government is underestimating the level of poverty that is affecting this country.
I don't think so, because this government would have. I mean, it's a PNM government that where most of these social programs was put in place back in the day under Patrick Manning. You understand? Most of the social programs, including MyLat and MyPath,
and are they adequate post-COVID?
Well, we could question that.
But that's why I said, if the provisions are not adequate, they are underestimating the abject level of poverty that's affecting the population. I didn't say they're not doing nothing, you know.
Yeah.
I was very careful that they're underestimating.
I think, and Richard may agree with me here, is that we focus so much on the people who are corrupting the system than the people who really deserve the help from the system. You understand?
We always do. We're always busy catching the people who out to get the government or get public funds.
Which is fine.
We are so concerned. But we are so concerned with that that we make it difficult for people who need it to access it in a timely and easy manner. And that's the balance I always think they get wrong. But at least that's my opinion. I always think they get that balance
Well,
wrong.
just remember the
I can give you
drama
an
people
example
had.
of how the system works against, because I know of a single, well, I shouldn't say single mother, but I know of a mother whose the child's sneakers whatever she was doing, it got a little busted, and the only other shoe that she had, and because they're coming close to the end of the term, she said, well, wear this shoe, but I don't have the money to buy another shoe. At this point, the child goes to school with the other shoe, and the teacher tells her, unless you get a new shoes, you can't take exams.
I have a better story. I have a part of panel discussion yesterday. Go ahead.
How do you balance that? Because you're telling a child, basically, don't come back to school unless you get a shoe, which the child can't get because it's the parent that has to provide, and the parent is saying, I don't have the funds now. And you're telling basically the child and the parent, you can't take exams because you don't have a shoe.
Because of a shoe.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
Because somebody on the high horse, not understanding and being empathetic. Yesterday, as part of a panel discussion, and you were talking about disabilities, and a parent of a child with a disability, profound cerebral palsy, gave a story about the Princess Elizabeth home that put out her daughter because they can't take care of her, because they find it too difficult to give her the rehabilitative therapy. Put out the child. I mean, what is the parent to do? And then she take it to the Equal Opportunities Tribunal, and they tell her they can't do nothing because they can't cite discrimination because there's nothing to compare to. Because the discrimination, as it's worded in the act, there has to be apparently some other person in the category who has been treated differently to compare it to, which is like, what? And these stupid little nuances make people's lives who are already stressed so difficult. You understand? And it's like, come on. Think. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, I think it's so much less effort when you make people's lives easy than you make it hard. It takes a lot less effort, and it gives you such a joy when you try to make the life of someone easy. You can't do all, You can't do everybody. You can't help everybody.
You need to read Anon 001's comments and try not to stoops.
Say what? But Brent Sylvester raised something that I also wanted to raise. Thanks for reminding me, whoever Brent Sylvester is. That issue of how Tobago was marketed on the World Trade market, with the jab, the jab molasses. What do you all think about it? I saw a lot of criticism about it.
I love it.
I saw the jab molasses last night on news, and it was and the guy who was portraying it, of course, was doing
what jab molasses do?
Yeah. I mean, I've never played jab molasses. I played devil. And
when I saw the comments, I wondered people want him to walk around sipping tea.
And I thought, in my opinion, I thought it was interesting in terms of standing out.
It definitely stood out.
Because I understand also what Kelvin Morris said, because Kelvin Morris is the minority leader, right?
Yes.
And it's how he says that Tobago has so much to offer besides that. And when you come to Tobago, you're not going to necessarily see that as a tourist. And I get that point too. But what Tobago has to offer in a lot of ways is a lot of what the other Caribbean islands offer. Maybe the ecotourism part is a little different because Tobago has an ecotourism because their rainforest is the oldest protected one in the Western Hemisphere. But you still have versions of that in the other islands too. But in terms of the beauty of Tobago, other islands are competing on that same level. I thought it was interesting to have that kind of character that makes
if the job is there to draw you, right? If that was the purpose, then it worked.
Yeah.
Did you see the people around with their phones?
Yes, I saw that. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I don't know what else was presented by Tobago. If it was just that, well, then it clearly...
I'm sure it wasn't just that alone, but I thought it was very interesting and very original and organic, and I found it was very good.
Well, the guy...
Maybe they want Michael Jackson singing Billie Jean to represent Tobago. I don't know.
But you know what we underestimate? People's desire to get devilish when they're ready. And to go to some place that could promise that kind of superstitious nonsense.
Are you speaking personally?
I'm just telling you.
Are you speaking
curious about that. People
desire to get devilish sometimes?
Our old colonial people, they're still curious about that, you know.
Is it that you are talking from personal experience, that you have this desire to be devilish sometimes?
I'm a believer, brother. As much as
so being a believer doesn't mean that you don't get devilish sometimes.
Yeah, but not in those kind of ways. Not in the ways you might be thinking.
What ways am I thinking? Let's share them.
You might thinking I want to deal with your cult. I just want to deal with certain other.
I never said any such thing.
I thought it was interesting from that perspective. I'm not so sure what I knew it was a news item because
why, Richard, why are you bowing your head when I'm speaking?
Oh no, I was checking something on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I don't know if it was
to pray for you. Bowing his head to pray for you.
I'm bowing my head to pray for you. Okay.
I
was checking something on my phone one day. But anyway, but my point is, I knew it was a news item because obviously it had caused some level of discussion on social media. I didn't see it because those kind of things don't come up in my stream. But that's how I saw it.
I found it was great.
Trying to distinguish yourself from the other island in an innovative way.
Yeah. But you see, we don't look at our culture as innovative. We want to follow everybody else. I have a question. Is Faris Helwari in the country?
Is that the poll?
You mischievous, eh?
Yeah, Wendell, is that the poll?
You being mischievous.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking a question. Is he in the country?
No, we can do that as the poll.
Because I know he's working on a particular bill that's going to the Senate next week. So I ain't telling you that. If I wanted to tell you, I'd tell you.
Local government.
You're saying that is a glaring... Is that
Let's
more...
say good morning and congratulations to Minister Marvin Gonzalez, who in addition to his portfolio of Minister of Public Utilities and... It's Public Utilities, right?
Public Utilities, yeah.
He's now the acting Attorney General.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that the sidestepping of Mr. Al-Rawi is somehow indicative that he has actually fallen out of sorts with the Prime Minister? Is that what you're saying, Paul?
Do you have newspapers? It's 6:44.
But Marvin, I sent him congratulations, actually. I said, and he sent me back those two eyes.
Okay. All right. I watch. I always feel like somebody's watching. I don't know, but and it was Faris is acting Minister of National Security. That's why. You see, we got an explanation. There we go. That's right. You see how things are cleared up wonderfully? Just not a sidestep. Faris is already assigned to additional position. So
he's acting minister.
Yeah.
So Fitzgerald Hines traveled also?
Everybody out of the country?
I didn't know Fitzgerald Hines was out.
Also, Faris Al-Rawi is the acting Minister of National Security.
Yes, apparently.
Well, I'm seeing that in some of the comments here. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, somebody who goes by the name KM. Kamla Mohammed? No. Oh, shucks.
So maybe that is
go to the papers, though. Please. Keep save us. Go to the papers, please.
Keep something I know. Who's asked KM?
Please go to the papers. Please go to the papers.
I do. I have to.
Quickly. Expeditiously.
You have papers, Richard?
He said he does. He does.
You said that crazy story about a former husband of a deputy mayor. Why the newspapers so ridiculous? Why would they link her to what he doing? He's a former husband. What had that to do with him? With her?
The main headline, I'll start with the Daily Express today, Friday, November 17th. After 30 years in prison, murderer goes home to mom, takes dip in the salt, sweet freedom from death row. Victim's family in shock. That's the main headline. Fire service ladders, value for money is a subheadline. And summit in Saudi, and the main picture is that of the Prime Minister together with the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda and the Prime Minister of Barbados with the Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman Al Saudi, taking a picture. That's the front page picture. And on the back page of the Daily Express, champs out, QRC shocked Fatima in North Zone intercall semis, and minister calls for help in anti-doping fight. So that's it for the front and the back of the Daily Express. Front page of the Newsday, death row inmate released after resentencing, freedom after 30 years. That's the headline. Mayaro man charged with 8 counts of attempted murder and cleanup. Main picture, I'm not too sure why. Workers remove oily ore. This is why. Workers remove oily slush from a drain during an emergency operation by Heritage Petroleum to clean up and locate the source of an oil leak at Massahood Junction, Faizabad on Thursday. Back page of the Newsday. Intercall North Zone finalists known. QRC battles St. Anthony's. And Barbara Charles reminisces on Italia 90. Heartbreak. And on the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today, what did they go with? Gang sweep is the headline the Guardian went with. Cops round up 15 Port of Spain criminals. 6 leader, as an SIXX leader, among those held in hotspot raids. Effort to end bloodshed, says TTPS. Oil leak in Faizabad is a subheadline. Teen murder victim's sister forgives killers. And AGCJ urge more cybersecurity vigilance. All of that is on the front page of the Guardian this morning. And on the back page, QRC upsets champs Fatima. That's the main story on the back page, and that's all you need to know in the 3 dailies in Trinidad and Tobago this morning.
We have a promo to play before we go to the poll. That's coming up next.
I believe that without legislation in Trinidad and Tobago, pretty much nothing gets done. And when it comes to people with disabilities, legislation will assist in by way of education and especially employment.
All righty.
That's new and refreshing.
Yep.
Steve?
All right, so let's get the results of our morning poll from yesterday. Yesterday, we asked you, do you think a mandatory calorie count should be placed on all food for purchase in TNT? The results are in. 86%, 86 said yes. Let's get into this morning's poll.
Right. So my suggestion is based on the comment from Attorney at Law Daniel Khan, who's calling for legislative reform regarding persons who are accused and convicted of murder or charged for murder, and also whether the government should look at whether the death penalty is making sense in the book. So my suggestion, and I know we've asked this question before, and I know it depends on Pratt and Morgan and the Privy Council, but do you think the reactivation of the death penalty will help reduce violent crime in TNT?
Okay. If you, all right. Because it just occurred to me we could have asked the Jab Malassi question, but go ahead with that. We'll do the
can do that also.
Yeah. Because it was
that
a
okay?
Friday. Huh?
You all decide.
I only said that after I heard you said we would have asked that before.
Richard, you tiebreaker. Which one? John Balassi,
Yeah,
represented
I'm
to
going
be
to get
well.
that because it's current. That other question you can ask at any time.
Yeah.
What's your question? Do you agree?
Do you have a problem with the Jab
Yeah.
Malassi being promoted as Tobago culture?
Agree with the spell John Balassi for me because I'm gonna mess up that bad.
JAB, Jab. And MOLASSI, Molassi. The young boy say pulmonary fibrosis just now there and I get goosebumps, you know, when you rattle that off so.
John
How his mom
Balassi.
died?
Well, I
You
sure
don't
they
get
spell
young,
wrong.
you don't get
Can
young
you
people
spell that for me,
pronouncing
Wendell, please?
Huh?
JAB.
MOLASSI. Molassi. 2 words.
Okay.
While we type up our morning poll, let's say good morning. Go down to Slick Money Grip, Maria Celia, Dennis,
You can't spell that for me.
Todd, Donna Leeling, CJ New York. Good morning to you. Mo Gaines, Trinity in Boston. Have a safe weekend yourself. Rena Boodoo Jennings, Carol Guevara, Shireen Jack, Cheryl Seeley, Richard Duku, CJ New York, Anno, Brent Sylvester, Mars versus Venus, Cam, Doreen Pear, Beauty Culture, Kazim Mohammed. Yeah, he spelled it out there for you, Paul. Alawe, good morning to you. All right.
Yeah,
Good morning to Debe, our listeners out in Debe. Good morning to you. All right. So there's our morning poll on the screen. Do you agree with the jam molasses being used to represent the culture of Tobago? Right. That's our poll. 222-8255 North Americans 866.
Is it 2 words?
It's 2 words, but that's all right.
We can
All
fix
right.
it.
Of course, call us and send us a message via YouTube or Facebook and on WhatsApp at 318-1021. Do you agree with the jab molasses being used to represent the culture of Tobago? Yes or no?
Richard Jeremiah has said yes already. Morning,
Yeah.
Richard.
Clifton Simpson says no.
No.
I got good morning, guys. Yes to the poll. Thank you so much, Alistair Hart. Richard Duku says no. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Inal here. My answer to the question is yes, but I'm wondering what else does a jambalasi do? Thank you.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandi, yes.
Thank you. Richard Duku says no. Siobhan Wilson says yes. Wayne Joseph in Ontario, Canada says yes. 222-8255 North Americans, toll-free number for you, 866-525-1099. WhatsApp, 318-1021 via YouTube and Facebook as well. Gregory Bauer says no to the poll. Long Islander says no. Somebody else says yes. Cynthia says yes. CJ New York says yes by YouTube. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're recording Cynthia is not YouTube. Cynthia is YouTube?
Yeah.
Where you see Cynthia on YouTube there? I see CJ.
No, CJ is on YouTube. Cynthia is WhatsApp, sorry.
Oh.
New Hampshire says yes. Thank you, New Hampshire. Do you agree with the jab molasses being used to represent the culture of Tobago? Yes or no?
Alua Olufemi says yes also. And Biomaya Koli. What a name. Biomaya Koli. Is that a name?
Yes. Why not? Because there's no window?
Well, yeah.
Well, he said yes. Beefy Smith out in Goodwood, Tobago says yes. Carol Guevara says yes. Why not?
Whenever I see strange names, I'm always interested in where it came from, how it came about,
It didn't come from England.
We know that one.
Clearly, that's it. So that's good.
All right. Send us yes or no's via WhatsApp at 318-1021. Call us at 222-8255 or toll free for North Americans 866-525-1099. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Hell no. Tobago and Stephen should damn
So you like job. I know you like job.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, but the job is Grenada. Telling me about Jambalaya, Tobago. Yeah, break. I agree with Duke for
But
one.
son, you like job? You love job.
That not that kind of job. Not the job to have. Not the job
I know you like job. I know you love job.
You already know is that job was making.
But you like that noise too.
The job I like sound so. Of course, it's a song.
That's the exactly noise you like. That's the noise you like.
And her tongue sticking out, long.
She like that too.
You will know that. That must
But that's what is now how the Jambalaya is portrayed,
That must be the same job like out in Ghana.
Nah, they are the real thing out there. Them are the real thing out there.
Let people call, please. Go back and lay your blanket, please.
Go back and sleep.
So if I never call to vote or anything, all you don't know to call, say good morning, all you only call me out when all you want to pong me, and take out mortgage on me.
I don't want to call you to pong you, you know that.
I go.
Beauty Culture says no. Slick Money Grip says no. Ebony.
It's the same decision a couple of months ago when they had this big protest over Juve as a big protests.
Steve, Carl Navarro said yes, and Paul Cordis said no.
I said that.
You said Paul Cordis?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear it, sorry.
All right.
The one job with a teacup in your hand. You understand? The one tribe job. They want Juve job. With a stylized job. With tinsel and thing, you understand?
I don't think the question is the type of job Molasi that was displayed. I hope not.
Mendel, in this country, let me tell you, they have all kind of nuances to that objection. You know that, right?
True.
Okay, they have all kind of nuances to that objection. Should I be a wrong job?
I really hope that's not the direction they went.
Should I be a wrong job?
Wayne B says no.
Ebony Jewel Star, you have to vote. You're not voting. You're commenting. You're not voting.
Brent Sylvester says no. Thank you, Brent. Getting directly to the point. Less than a minute to vote. Do you agree with the job Molasi being used to represent the culture of Tobago? Yes or no?
Tobagonians, it might be nice to hear from you this morning.
Yeah, well, Beefy Smith voted, and he's from Tobago.
Okay.
Yeah, he had said yes.
Morning, Avril. Head it open.
Yeah, and Steve's motioning. Yep, it's 7 o'clock. Lennon Roberts says no.
Sovrel says no. And 484 says yes. Oops.
I'm sure I missed some of them, Wendell. So I hope you.
I have all. But I'm surprised how close it is, though.
Dabidi says no.
Keegan Barrett says no.
Yeah. All right.
Some are ashamed they may love Tupac. Who's Anand? Are they on the same program as us?
I understand exactly what they said. Yes, they are.
All right.
And they don't like you when we're bigging up Tupac. That's what they mean.
Oh, okay.
Come, keep up, Wendell, keep up.
Oh, I didn't realize that he was responding to our
news
comments a while back.
Yeah, it's exactly 7 o'clock. Let's get into our major news on this, the 17th day of November. Evie is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley attends CARICOM Saudi Arabia Summit. Trinidadian-born UN General Secretary Ambassador Francis assures he will be impartial in moves to address reform of the Security Council. THA told put better systems in place ahead of future cruise ship arrivals to Tobago, and at least 15 members of 3 major gangs remain in police custody following raids in and around Port of Spain. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, along with other regional leaders, met with His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, at the inaugural CARICOM Saudi Arabia Summit Thursday in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Adel Al-Jubeir met with CARICOM heads at the 43rd regular meeting at the Conference of Heads of Government in July 2022 and proposed initiatives to deepen ties between the region and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Thursday's engagement is a result of those efforts. The high-level meeting builds on the strategic alliance between the Caribbean nations and Saudi Arabia and signals a commitment by all parties to the continued development of an enduring relationship. Yesterday, the Saudi Minister of Investment, Khalid Al-Falih, hosted leaders to an investment roundtable meeting, which provided an opportunity for discussions with leading Saudi private sector entities. Prime Minister Rowley also held bilateral discussions with the Minister of Energy, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, which focused on opportunities for both countries to work together to create energy security for the region. Trinidadian-born President of the United Nations General Assembly, Ambassador Dennis Francis, says he is aware of calls from member states for reform in the UN Security Council. Ambassador Francis said violence and war continues to spread in regions across the world, while the UN seems paralyzed due largely to divisions in the Security Council. Mr. Francis made the remarks at the plenary meeting Thursday on the question of equitable representation on and increase in the membership of Security Council and other matters related to the Security Council. Ambassador Francis said that he would approach the issue of council reform within the context of wider UN reform in a fair and transparent way. He said procrastination cannot be allowed to get in the pathway of reform to ensure trust among members.
I assure you and reassure you that you can count on me as your president to provide full support to the co-chairs and to offer an open door to all of you to help facilitate dialogue in an impartial, inclusive, and trustworthy manner.
Mr. Francis said the Summit of the Future in September next year is one of the forums which can be used to discuss in a meaningful way reform of the Security Council to make it more relevant and more relevant and protect and bolster international peace.
Peace demands commitment of all of us. Imbibed with the requisite will, I am confident that together we can move the dial on our efforts to create a Security Council that is more representative of and better equipped to effectively serve the modern age.
The Tobago House of Assembly is being urged to get all systems in place ahead of future cruise ship arrivals to the sister isle. THA Minority Leader Kelvin Morris issued the plea at a news briefing on Thursday. It comes following last Saturday's cancellation of pre-booked tours for 300 tourists when the Celebrity Silhouette docked at the port of Scarborough due to the non-arrival of maxi taxis. The vessel's arrival marked the start of the cruise ship season. The THA Tourism Division says it is expecting 70 scheduled calls, bringing a total of 116,906 passengers to Tobago. Mr. Morris said with more cruise lines scheduled to arrive in Tobago, he's hoping lessons have been learned from the recent development and action taken quickly to correct the situation.
While this would have happened on Saturday, there are more cruise liners to come, and there are cruise liners that are coming with more passengers. The question is, do we now, as of now, have the capacity to deal with those cruise liners? While we had the euphoria of celebrating being awarded third most desirable island by Wanderlust, that on the ground, the experience is one that does not equate to being a place that is desirable.
Mr. Morris suggested one avenue which can be explored to build a fleet of vehicles which can be used to accommodate visitors when they arrive to the island.
There are opportunities, perhaps through BDU, opportunities through venture capital, where the THA, understanding that there's a real shortage, could have put out a request for proposal to interested Tobagonians who want to provide transportation services to purchase vehicles at a reduced loan rate. We could have created a loan guarantee program for persons who wanted to get into the business of tours and transportation.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. At least 15 members of 3 major gangs remained in police custody up to last evening after a series of raids in and around Port of Spain. According to reports, raids described as a gang sweep were done in response to several shootings and murders in Belmont and St. Anne's within the last several days. Police said the exercises began just after 12 a.m. on Thursday as officers descended on several parts of East Port of Spain, Laventille, Beetham and Sealots, rounding up the suspects. The suspects, including a man believed to be the leader of the 6th gang, remained at police stations across Trinidad. Those arrested are suspects in several murders, shootings and robberies and are expected to be placed on identification parade, according to reports. The team of officers involved in the exercises, including those from the Belmont Police Station, Bassau Street Police Station, the Interagency Task Force, the Guard and Emergency Branch, the Criminal Gang and Intelligence Unit, and members of the TNT Regiment. The exercise was sanctioned by Police Commissioner Earl Hayward Christopher and led by DCP Intelligence and Investigations Kurt Simon, ACP Crime Kent Gishawan, and ACP Tactical Support Kelvin Thompson. A 61-year-old man who was initially held in connection with a report of arson in Mayaro that occurred on November 13th was Thursday denied bail on 8 counts of attempted murder. Ramsaran Kaulasa, the Mafeking Road, Mafeking Village Mayaro man, was denied bail by Magistrate Debbie Ann Bassor at the Mayaro Magistrates Court after being charged on November 15th by PC Farley of the Mayaro Criminal Investigations Department with the attempted murder of a family of 8. The family includes 3 minors, a 7-month-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, and 4 adults ages 28, 34, 52, and 71. Kaulasa was arrested on November 13th by Mayaro CID detectives who responded to a report of arson along Mafeking Road, Mafeking Village, Mayaro, where a family was awoken by crackling sounds, the smell of smoke, and flames at their dwelling house. According to police reports, at 10 p.m. on November 12th, a family retired to bed after securing their home by locking all doors and windows. At 2:30 a.m. the next day, one of the occupants heard a smashing sound at her bedroom window and later observed that it was broken. Upon further investigations, she saw a man who allegedly threw a liquid on her and threw a lit Molotov cocktail in her room, causing her to be set afire. She immediately raised an alarm and the family members began evacuating the house. The entire house was destroyed by fire. Officers of the Mayaro CID, as well as personnel from the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, responded, and the fire was eventually completely extinguished. The family and the suspect were taken for treatment. The woman who was set afire was reported to be in stable condition at hospital. The suspect was later charged with the offenses. Well, finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, partly cloudy, hazy, and breezy conditions are expected, with occasional showers occurring. There's a medium chance of a few heavy showers and thunderstorms. Tonight will be fair despite brief showers at times. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding may accompany heavy showers or thunderstorms. Expect a temperature high of 32 degrees Celsius, both at Piarco International Airport and Crown Point, Tobago. It's currently 26 degrees Celsius at Piarco and 28 at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley attends CARICOM Saudi Arabia Summit. Trinidadian-born UN General Secretary Ambassador Francis assures he will be impartial and moves to address reform of the Security Council. THA told to put better systems in place ahead of future cruise ship arrivals in Tobago, and at least 15 members of 3 major gangs remain in police custody following raids in and around Port of Spain. I'm Avril Sindel-Bab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right, thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. Quickly, let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Out of Diego Martin, out of Maraval, Mocha, very heavy this morning. From Coconut Drive to the Lookout and Lady Young, you've got traffic. Valencia Stretch, yeah, volume there for sure. A little bit of traffic by O'Mara Road, that's beginning to build. Piarco towards Yui, Golden Grove Road is a bit heavy. Leaving Kelly, taking it back to the airport, that is also heavy. Leaving Chagonas, you're going to pick up your traffic from Chin Chin Road just before, towards Ibis Gardens and the County Roundabout towards Curep, and Southern Main Road Curep is also a bit busy. Eastern Main Road, go to Tacarigua, Macoya, that's heavy, Page, and then from Curep, it's volume just heading towards Mova Junction. All right, let's head down south and see what's happening there. Lighter than usual, nothing really to tell you in the south, just exiting the Solo into Taruba Link Road, you've got some traffic, and by Bonaventure Road also got some traffic in Gasparello.
Yeah, to play.
Yep, head up north. Yep, your traffic really starts from Monroe Road as you head northbound. All right, that's your traffic update. 38 days to Christmas.
Legislation sets the tone for how we treat each other as a society. It provides those boundaries and the expectations, and it also upholds the rights of all of the citizens.
Legislation is important for everyone in society as it sets rules and regulations that create an organized, safe, and fair environment in which everyone is equal.
They form the opinion that because you have a disability, that you are somehow unintelligent, stupid, ridiculously asinine, you name it. So legislation is quite important, and I hope that legislation is soon coming so that people with disabilities can be who they are. People first, disabilities after.
Already.
I'm here. I'm having another 2 Ritz bits now. Ritz bits. You know, I don't like to eat on camera.
Let me leave
in front
that
of a camera. I don't like to eat on camera or in front of a camera.
I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. Oh my God.
If it's hidden, you might catch me, but that's about it.
You're trying to get me in trouble. You're trying to get me in trouble this morning, yes?
We had one other vote coming in since, and that made it a tie. 15 all. Guy Small voted after the news there. He's the only other vote that came in at 7:01, and that made it a tie.
So it's split down the middle, basically.
It's split down the middle.
Well, there you have it. So
I have a problem with it.
we have
I thought it
split
was very
down
authentic.
on the issue. Yeah.
I thought it was authentic and unique, and that's what set it apart from probably every other thing there.
I understood, although that Kelvin Morris said it, I understood his logic, why he would think it was not the most appropriate thing to promote Tobago with.
What is Kevin Morris's position?
His position is that you have a lot of other
No, what is his title in the assembly?
He is the minority leader.
The opposition person.
Yeah, no, but he didn't oppose it outright like that, you know. He is not that type of person.
No, he's
You
not.
understand?
But I'm saying that.
Nothing I've seen and heard from Kelvin thus far makes him that kind of vitriolic person.
No, he's not a vitriolic person at all. He's actually quite easygoing and constructive.
Yeah.
But my position in it is, if it weren't that authentic, we wouldn't even be talking about it today.
And maybe that was the idea.
Exactly. It generated interest and conversation and discussion.
I don't know that the THA officials there, Farley or even Ms. Boris and him, could even articulate that was the purpose behind it.
That THA is very good at going viral, you know, or some iteration of it. Right.
They do. They
understand viral videos very well, you know, in parts of that THA. You understand content that goes viral very easily. Right? Many of them. Just saying.
Yeah, I had no problem with it, but I understood where Kelvin Morris was going. But at the end of the day, if it drew attention to Tobago and will get more people there, then it worked.
I don't think it was negative branding, and I don't
know that the issue with the bus, the maxi striking, would help the cause.
Exactly. Well, that went viral, trying didn't help them at all. They look like novices.
That didn't help them at all.
They looked incompetent.
Yep.
Okay.
And when I listened to an interview with Cloyd something, you know, it didn't get any better, because it's like if they need to plan a wrong 7-day Adventist, then if that's the case, if most of the drivers are 7-day Adventists, there are some other people that start owning Maxi. Welcome to the Catholics and Pentecostals in Tobago.
You buying that?
But that's what they say.
You're usually careful with how you spend your money. You buying that nonsense?
What, a Maxi in Tobago? Yeah.
No, that is the reason that it didn't turn up.
I know it's money. It has to be money, but they say it's not money. Yeah?
You know, to do with Adventists and Saturday and all of that.
But they are saying it's not money, eh?
Yeah.
No, but people
devout
Adventists.
If that is the case,
Paul,
we have to tell cruise ship, don't come to Tobago on a Saturday.
No, but devout Adventists, brother man, there's nothing you could do to get them to work past.
And that's fine, and I respect anybody's religious observances, but you are not telling me that you are building a tourism industry, and because a lot or many of your service providers may have particular religious persuasion, you're going to damage your product? Really? Well, you miss me with them nonsense.
And everybody look plus age there. Most of them drivers, eh?
And that's fine.
Them ain't leaving that church on a Saturday. Trust
me. Your mayor plus age too, and that's everyone from being mayor.
That is Richard's mayor, not my mayor. My mayor is 38. My mayor is Port of Spain, 38.
The Arima mayor. I see he had a press conference of some sort. Well, I shouldn't say a press conference. I said he had a walkabout around Arima. And that's one of the highlights in the newspapers today.
He walk around Arima?
Yeah, in terms of building behavior, Paul. And he walked around Arima in terms of building confidence. And so he started off at Naipaul's, a bookstore car park, and ended up at the market.
How long that took?
I don't know, but he was talking to people. Well, according to the article, I can only tell from the article. So he's talking about the plans for the borough for Christmas. I don't know if they're lighting up. I have already said that they should.
I'm sure Mr. Mayor Maraj will light up.
And they need to get lights. They need to get some lights for the star on the hill, which wasn't a star last year. It was part of a star.
It was an R.
Part of a star. Because they had many of the lights are now blown. So they need to refurbish that and certainly light up Arima like how it used to be light up. I can't remember if they lit up last year.
You might want to be careful. You might want to be careful using it to light up Arima.
So
yeah, Arima done lit already.
That light up thing could have some problems.
So hopefully
I'm sure he will want to do that. I'm sure he will do it. Especially if the MP has Lisa Morris Julian has anything to do with it.
She's a very proactive kind of person.
Yeah, she will get that done, man. Lisa will get that done. Anyway,
yeah, big invitation, boy.
Too.
But I don't know if I should share it publicly. So, but it seems to be a public thing. Parang bands and thing. The Coco Payol Festival.
That is in Miami?
No. That's at the Lupino Recreation Ground.
When?
On the 10th of December, the Honorable Marvin Gonzalez, Member of Parliament for Lupino, Bonnie West.
He sent me that invite, man. How could I forget?
Authentic Lupino cuisine. Music, craft market, well-stocked bar, exciting new games.
Yeah, he said.
Sereno, Sarah. Leo Manzanare.
But do they spell? I don't know. I think they misspell cocoa, you know. I think cocoa don't have the A in it when they're saying cocoa pie, you know.
Nah, that cocoa with all the air problems. Leave the A, please.
You know, at first I thought you were actually talking about the cocoa plant, you know, and then I realized what you said.
No, leave the A, boy. You mad at cocoa pie? No. That's problems.
Especially coming from Marvin.
Yeah, want to put cocoa pie with CO2 or two. That is real problems.
Oh gosh.
No. Leave it how it is, please. It was well vetted. Okay, you see, you're getting man in trouble. You got to tell them take off the A, and it's pure problems. And Jack resurrect this one. No.
I'd probably want that.
And we should say, and I don't know if we did. We should say congratulations to Tobago on the Wanderlust Readers Award. Where they were rated in the top 3 most desirable islands on the planet.
And
so
that's
first was
despite not having a sandals.
First was Cuba, second was Taiwan.
Interesting.
And Tobago was third.
Taiwan.
Very good.
Yep. All right. We got a call coming through, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Steve, you don't look so well. I see you coughing just now.
Yeah, feeling terrible this morning.
And the throat tied up, warm up.
Once my throat is warm, I feel all right.
Yeah. I have the same issue, but it affects my ear. So I hardly hearing. I'm not even hearing when my class starts. That's to tell you how bad it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I have to put the phone on speaker in order to speak to you. You know, I don't even get a feedback.
No. Sounding great.
Good morning, Dr. Paul.
Good morning, my dear. Have a happy Friday, a great weekend. Merry Christmas to you. Season of greetings. Feliz Navidad.
It's time. And Wendell, good morning to you. And Richard.
Good morning, Ms. David.
Good morning.
So, well, this one I voted on WhatsApp. Thank you, Steve, for giving me the number. And but I voted no because I said, you see, the question is, do you think it is the culture? I don't think it's the culture. I would think it is part of, right? So that's why I voted no. I mean, that is part of their culture, but that is not the main one, right? I could be wrong. But anyway.
What is the main culture?
As the main culture?
I'm asking you, what do you think is the main culture of Tobago?
What's the main culture of Tobago, boy?
Crab and galah.
You have a main culture because everything is it's food and food. You go with food and what else? It's probably any food. I don't think it like because all the other islands have all of these things up there.
I think it was very effective marketing.
But that, I mean, for marketing it was good, but I don't think it is the culture. And you know about our culture, I was in Jamaica and for my son's graduation. And do you know, for the graduation ceremony, only the steel pan music was played throughout from the time of sitting there until the ceremony started. And for the graduates to walk in, pan music. Intermission, pan music. At the end of the ceremony, pan music. Boy, it was sounding good. That made my
Jamaica?
My son. Yeah, at Mona campus. So that was so enjoyable. Not a piece of music from Jamaica, no reggae. Old time music, dollar wine and long time, old music. So I was wondering if there was
Trinidadian host that thing you went to?
No, it's UE.
Oh,
you know.
Okay,
so I do understand.
Jamaicans don't hesitate to promote the culture.
But that is what I was saying. So I spoke to parents.
Remember, it's University of the West Indies.
But the whole pyramid, and the one of the parents told me that those are Trinidadians who are at the university there. So watch now. I was so happy just to hear my music playing right through. I enjoyed that tremendously. Besides my son's graduation, it was wonderful. But anyway. Yesterday I touched on it, Mrs. Christopher, the COP, about the crisis, parenting crisis. It might be a crisis, but we do have some delinquent parents who bring up delinquent children, and they have no regards for them, right? I'll give an example. I know of someone personally, because the husband left her, she took it out on his son since he was like 7 years, and he's 17 years now, and he cussing her, pulling cutlass for her, doing this because she was only babying him up and just letting him do what he wants. And in fact, I heard that he's part of a gang, but the police came to question him for something already.
Ms. Dabadi, stick up in. Ms. Dabadi, stick up in. How that line about since the husband left her come in there nowadays?
Right, because she every time she beat him, or not beat him, was scolding him, she doesn't beat him. She afraid to touch him. When he was young, she saying, your father. Your father go on his leave. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
that is the part that she, yeah. That's the part that, you know, she added always about your father, this and your father, which I find was wrong, eh? And so he now, he'll be a young, 18 years soon. He has no control. Nothing. I met bad company, but they move out to the area and he's with wrong company. He's not in the area like us, where I am here, where you don't have to with bad boys. Going somewhere where you have bad children. He liming with, right? So some parents could be very delinquent, and I think in the context she put it, she meant it like if it was like crisis moving problem. I don't think so. I don't think it is a crisis, but they could still rein it in. Young parents coming up now should rein it in. The old ones can't do nothing again, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing could be done about that. So that's why I will just not disagree with her. It's not a crisis. But the Minister of Education and the Minister of Social Development also said the same thing. Not just
basically everybody was on the same page that day.
Yeah, right. So that's that. And I'm going back to the two young men who I know from the boys coming from school because I have an outlet in Bonnie-Aruka and they come there. The one who sings, he is so nice. He's a real good looking, young, handsome man, you know. And he is like quiet and just like a little baby. You know, I take to him a lot because he's come around and asked me, whatever you have to sell. And you tell him, how much money for this, how much money for that? Hey, but I the money now, eh? When I get money, I'll always buy. I say, no problem. Sometimes I'll give him something without him paying. Because I realize he's not working and he may want some food or something to eat. But you see, I heard a radio program on the road this morning. When I
Mr. Abadi.
Yes, Paul?
Let me ask you something. Do you think or agree that most of the young people in Trinidad and Tobago are positive and productive?
Yeah.
So when they say they have a parenting crisis, what are you really talking about?
But I said, it's not a
If
crisis.
most of the young people are doing well and productive and in school and doing their work, and only a few are the results of poor parenting or other issues, what is this parenting crisis they're talking about?
That is such a huge wrong word, not a crisis. There's no crisis. A crisis is like everybody is bad.
You would swear that the predominant among the young people in the country doing bad and robbing people.
Yeah.
It is a deflection from them doing their work.
Well, that's the next story because them are all involved. Some of them, anyway. I have to say some of them, you know. But anyway,
she ain't saying that a corruption crisis in the police service, you know.
Well, she knows.
She a corrupt officer crisis, you know.
Yeah, I understand. So, finally, Paul and Richard, Steve, and Wendell. My son graduated with first class honors.
Congratulations. Very well done. And that is a good parenting crisis.
Yes, I'm so proud of him. I'm always proud of him because my husband died when he was like 10 years old. And my daughter was 6 years old. And my daughter is now 18. And she's doing well as well.
Wonderful.
And the amount of sacrifice you must be put out to make these children what they are. Congratulations and thank you for your sacrifice.
I sacrifice myself because I'm single. I sacrifice myself to remain single to see about them. Right? So, young men and young women can't do it. Single parents can't do it.
Well, Ms. Dabadi, I hope I'm not talking out of turn here. I think you're doing enough sacrifice. You single and Mandel single.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Dabadi.
I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Don't sacrifice yourself no more. Save Wendell first.
Good morning.
Dabadi, and all you have to do is put on blue and gray, and he coming.
I have a saying. Richard, your mic off. Richard, your mic off.
I was saying matchmaker.
I have a saying, right? And I get this from an old counselor. He over 80-something years now, right? He say, when two of you lie down and it make 100, somebody has to get
Good morning, caller.
Wow. Well, Richard,
good
morning. That about 15 years ago.
So Wendell, morning.
Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, Lily just called and she made a statement about the mother and the child, and the mother keep telling the child, your father. I hear about that many times. Sometimes after separation, the mother take out the anger on the children sometimes. Sometimes the father take out the anger on the children. And if the child resembles the father, well, boy, it's resentment going down the road. It happens. It happens.
Yep, it does.
Yep.
You understand? So sometimes people feel the separation is the key to go when they have children. Sometimes the children will end up hating both parents after a while because they weren't there for them. That was happen sometimes. Now, this Tobago thing with this cruise ship. If you want to have 100 and something thousand passengers coming to Tobago for cruise, you have to have transportation.
Apparently not.
Transportation. Why are you going to promote all them people?
Every day except Saturday.
I think the transport people try to teach the cruise ship people a lesson, and it backfire on them.
You try to teach the assembly a lesson.
Bringing money in your country.
I don't think it had anything to do with the assembly. They have a cruise ship. They have a cruise ship organizer, Mr. Charles Cavallo. They try to teach him a lesson because apparently they're saying he owing them money.
And another thing, what your religion has to do with the people paying a set of money to come to your country for you to cry them out and you tell them because of your religion you can't go? What kind of mad thing that is? I don't understand that.
Well, obviously it obviously means that the THA or the tourism management in Tobago has to have a backup in terms of making those tours happen.
Yep, they dropped the ball.
Yep.
But they don't have a backup for all them people. They don't have no backup with all them people.
Well, let's hope it was the first and last time it happened. Because trust me, if I'm coming on a cruise, it's Tobago. I want to go. I would want to go to Tobago.
And you want to make sure when you come to Tobago, you're not stranded?
Well, right. But I'm just saying, if I had a choice to come either Trinidad or Tobago, I want to go to Tobago. If I was a foreigner coming on a cruise.
Not that. You had to put things in place for the people. You can't invite people in your place. I want to come to you.
Mr. Patrick, you're repeating yourself. Mr. Patrick, you're repeating yourself. You're saying that it has happened. It should never happen again.
Tobago and Trinidad. Even in Trinidad too. You invite people to football and you oversell tickets. So they can't go to the stadium.
It should never happen again. That's what I'm saying. Tobago had to ensure, or whoever the organizers are, if they had somebody suggested, send up some maxi on a boat for that weekend, do it from Trinidad. You understand? And ensure that the people, the tourists that coming off the boat, get somewhere to go. Because as Mr. Cavallo rightly said,
but when you fail to realize Trinidad and Tobago have a riff and Tobago want not much to do with Trinidad.
Well, that's Tobago business. That's Tobago business, if that is the case. If they don't want maxis come up, that is the business. Then the cruise ships will just not come there. Because it's not only about the transport, it's about the people who cooking food. It's about the places that the boats that carry out
money in your pocket.
Let me tell you what my issue is a much bigger issue. Is that we seem to think that debacle only affected Tobago. And the world, while we may have separated in some ways the Tobago product from the Trinidad product, the world views us as Trinidad and Tobago.
That's correct.
When tourists from around the world and cruise ships say, do you want to dock in Tobago or Trinidad? They will say, don't go in Trinidad and Tobago because they don't have transport for us on the dock.
Yep.
And that's the beginning. So while we remain, our little foolish inter-island battle, the brand is actually Trinidad and Tobago, but that is globally recognized. So it affects both islands.
That is true.
And people are not looking at that part of it.
Because I'm telling you, if I'm on a cruise ship and I had a choice to go Trinidad or Tobago, I want to go Tobago. Tobago have a lot more to do. The sea alone in Tobago is better than the cleanest pool in Trinidad.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Esiba Small.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, morning caller.
Somebody from the media, not so?
Ekaro to you all. I greet you all in the Yoruba language.
Akwaba.
I must say, Naku Sifa to Miss Dabudi. I will greet her and congratulate her, Ori, for the success of her son. Oh boy, she had me reminiscing when I went up to my first son graduation. Well done, Miss Dabadi. Well done. Listen, first I want to tell Paul, I want to say to you all, when I told you all I don't buy newspaper, I will buy a lotto or cash pot. All you think is joke? When I hear what Paul say, we sit down in a function, heard somebody speak, and the reporter go and put something different. No, this is madness. Total.
And if you see the apology on page 64B, at the bottom of the page.
By Richard Play.
No, not even Richard Play, prominent. No.
Where Richard Plays used to be. Where it used to be, sorry.
Y'all remember Morgan Job used to, that is why Morgan Job used to say he's not talking to the press, remember that? Because he say when he tell them, when they push a mic in his face and whatever he say, they go and they print something else. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. That is why the Justice Frank Sipasa that told that reporter who he charged when she printed the story about MP Leonson. Leon, I just pronounced his name wrong. Leon. Leon. And he asked her, he said, don't you check a story before you print it? She went and say, somebody tell she about the man.
Yeah. Somebody tell she.
Yeah.
Leon. That's journalism. Somebody tell me.
Yeah.
Somebody said after here.
Yes, he smiled all the way to the bank. The GML Guardian Media Limited and the reporter had to pay him for defamation. Man, look, they need to do them that more. They're going to start to check the story before they print it. Anyway, let me move on. I read a story on the newspaper this morning. It is so I I don't know if you all saw the headline. I think you all might have read it, where this guy was released after 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Was charged for murder and he was on death row. And Richard, I didn't know they used to have a cell close to the hangman trap, whatever they used to call, whatever they call it. If you hear this man's story, he and the person who killed the guy, their cell was so close because they're ready to be hung. So, and he said he heard when the guy who killed with him, heard when he got hung. He said when Dolce and his gang got killed, he heard every nine and I said, my God, I mean, how they could have a cell so close?
They actually do it on purpose.
Yeah, I feel so. I say, but this man, listen, I now see why what they call them, international, whatever, is talking about stop the hanging, and because it's sad. But what I'm saying, reading the story, the family of the deceased who got killed is so shocked to hear this man got released and their relative. I mean, and this is the next thing. He and this guy who he killed grew up together, went to school together. I mean, and this thing happened way back in 1992, eh? And I'm saying, but how you and somebody could grow up in the neighborhood, go to school, and you could plot to kill that person? This thing is ludicrous. And now he walked free. And when the reporter went by where he living, the mother tell him he gone by the beach. He went to get a dip in the salt. I say, wow. I mean, it's really hard, for the victim to hear when they thought they got justice. Well, I don't know what was because he says twice they prepare him to go to the gallows, and they just stop it. What do you say? Wait now, this judiciary, this thing in a mess since back then, 1992. Oh my God, no, this is madness, madness. No wonder why they're killing people at will. Because my God, that thing real. When I read that story, it was so sad to see this is the outcome. Well, they say he served 30 years, so it's like, I don't know. God, y'all have a good weekend if y'all can.
Hanging will not stop killing. A criminal mind is a criminal mind. They're not concerned about the consequences. All right.
Good morning. Good morning. One more time. Good morning, caller. Moving on. Good morning.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Good morning.
My first beef is with Paul. I think his old woman you taking home. What is that right in front of the face here?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
No. Don't let me start on you. Miss Aruka is Dabadi.
Dabadi.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
But I said for Wendell, though. You touchy so.
I missed it then.
Were you hearing your Nancy this morning? I said she's single and Wendell is single, so maybe.
Who tell you I'm single?
Oh, you push it over on Wendell.
I think you need to wake up properly before you call back, You ain't wake up properly yet.
Listen to me.
Like that job get to you.
And I called to ask all you. I called to ask all of you that same question all I put out there. You ever associate a bagel with job?
Yes.
You call.
Yes.
You with job. Richard, you associate, you have a job as a Tobago culture?
As Jabalasi is Trinidad and Tobago culture. That's how I look at it.
Listen, Jambalasi, the Blue Devil, is Trinidad culture. And the only jab I didn't know in Tobago, he dead long ago. But Jambalasi, I know it as a Grenadian culture. And that is why they went Grenada to get people to come for the carnival and to promote the thing. And because I could remember then when I heard somebody in the culture talking about them leaving Trinidad out and going Grenada to laze with Grenada. Listen, though Jambalasi ain't walking about Tobago on a normal day. So if you're going to sell Tobago, you didn't go to sell Carnival. If you went to sell the Tobago Carnival, you could have tried something like that. But if you go to promote Tobago as a destination, I don't think you letting tourists come here to see Jab walking about Tobago on a normal day. So
you'd be surprised how much people watch that jab and say, I'm going for one just like that.
But will you see it when you come? Will it be carnival time? This is what I'm saying. Where you're seeing Jab walking about.
No, you may not have picked up what I meant by that, but that's all right.
All right, I didn't really follow exactly what you said.
Thank you, Zena.
All right.
Thank you, Steve, for running me. Bye.
Good morning, caller.
You want all your these sensitive callers.
Morning, caller.
Morning, good morning. How is everybody? Happy Friday to you all. Two quick things. With respect to the maxi taxi driver in Tobago, according to the senior, they shot themselves in. Sorry. Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot because they have to think not about today, think about down the road. Okay, where you eat it and live long. You deal with today, and you come back next, and then look for the money after. And then if this is not the first time they do it, they convert all of a sudden and become Christians. That's one. And forget the other one. Anyhow, what I would like to announce is that on the 9th of December, the Panama champions for 2023, BP Renegades, will be at the Sports and Entertainment Arena in Washington, D.C. Front row tickets are $150 and regular tickets are $70. So anybody who's hearing me who lives out here is interested, I think you all have somebody named Tusa living in Washington.
Yeah, Chris.
Chris. Anybody interested? They do like me, I'm driving down. I'm spending the weekend down there. So, and they're interested, if you can check the Ticketmaster and obtain tickets, and I suppose it's going to be a beautiful time. All right? So you all guys have a beautiful weekend. And take care.
Is it just Pan, big guy?
Yeah. Only Pan, nobody else. Only Renegade.
All right. Okay, that sounds interesting.
All right? Yeah, boy, I'm going to have some fun, God willing.
All right. All right. Take care.
Good morning.
I'll find out if Clint, but he's going up.
Morning, caller.
Morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How you guys doing? Let's call you guys from Orlando. Listen, I'm glad you all brought back up the topic with this taxi driver stuff. The other gentleman just said they shot themselves. Yes, they're willing to do it. What I think you all need to do is invite somebody from the taxi association to find out what's the reason behind it. This is what life is all about. Transportation is a very important part of society. And these guys have to live and pay bills just like you and I have to pay bills. And the same thing in the airline industry. If you're not paying us, then we have to pay bills. The banks don't tell us, oh, thank you, or the creditors say, oh, that's okay. No, they want their money. Just the same way we want our money. So we're willing now to take a bullet in our foot. According to the other guy, yeah, we shut ourselves up, but they have to work at the places. So they catered for it. So the thing is, instead of everybody passing their own judgment and not giving the drivers rights, they just totally ignore the drivers as though the ships have all the rights. This is how the colonized system works. You just look at the people coming forward and say, what about the people in the country? They have rights too. So I think my foolish advice is for you guys to invite somebody from the taxi association, have an interview with them, and find what's going on. These guys have to live like everybody.
I want to support what you're saying. You know why? Because I listened to an interview with the drivers, and they are saying they are owed over $80,000. That's not small money for people, especially who hustling. You understand? And so I agree that the tourism, whatever association who own any money, should have made good on some part of that payment and pay the people.
Right. Right. When I was a little boy in Trinidad growing up in school, I think it's in 78 or somewhere around it. BWI then, wasn't Caribbean, the airlines that was BWI. They had a strike. And around Carnival season 2, they said they have to hit them where it hurts most. We're willing to take a bullet in our foot. And let everybody take and feel the pain as well. Let everybody in all areas of the spectrum. So the thing is, you want when you're striking, you want to win. You want the other side to pay up what they owe you. But some people, they're just seeing one side. No. Yes, let the German or whoever tourists come here, they will come again. Don't worry about that. They will come again. Listen, let me tell you something about people from overseas. They love to go into other people's countries. History proves it. So don't worry about they come and they lost money. No, they're willing to take just for one day. But they're going to find other means to find a way of getting their bills. But these people need to pay the tax drivers their money.
Yeah.
I'm
in agreement with that. I think they need to be paid.
Gentlemen, you all have a good morning, a good weekend. You all always do a good show in the morning. Take care.
Yeah.
All right.
And to use the excuse about COVID and how the industry now picking back up and then, no, you're owing money, pay it. I always believe in that. You're owing money to people, pay them.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning to the Power family. Good morning to the Power Breakfast crew. In regards to the thing that happened basically in Tobago, one thing that I did notice, okay, is anytime a holiday falls in Trinidad and Tobago, you don't have no type of public service or anything working. Buses is not running. Everybody's enjoying the holidays. They were even complaining that I've been listening to certain programs with Sir Charles and other networks, and they indicated that they don't even see the police and stuff on the road doing other things, basically, that, there's a holiday season. People out there and doing any checks and balances there in question. Because Wendell, Steve, I'm sure, Paul, when you guys travel around the world, no matter where you travel into, whether or not it's a holiday or not, we have services running. We're running on special, it could be not mass transit as busy as it is, but you still have public transportation running. You still have law enforcement working. You still have all these services up and running. But in Trinidad, for some reason, when a holiday falls, you don't have nothing running. And
it's just PTSD. Now, you will get other types of transportation, but I think PTSD doesn't run on a public holiday.
No. But Wendell, think out the box what I just said, okay? But at the end of the day, why you could come to New York or Miami or any one of the states in the United States, you could go Canada and other places, and you still find public services up and running. It's called working beyond your schedule. They will get paid time and a half or double time or whatsoever, but people still have to get around. We still have to transport people. There's not everybody that lucky that they don't have to go to work. You still have the doctors and everybody still have to get out there and so forth. Anyway, guys.
Well, comparing the mountaintops to Canada and USA ain't really fair. It's not really. You can't compare that.
I never said I was comparing. What I was just trying to say, at least it still have services is running for those who need to get to utilize the service. Anyway, guys, stay safe. Have a good week.
All right, thank you. Good morning. Okay. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
In the words of our Prime Minister, which I don't agree with a lot of times, I want my money and I want it on time. And when you owe people money, You cannot dictate when they choose, how and when they choose to protest for their money. If you don't want that kind of reaction, pay the people their money.
Can I interject?
Just now, Paul, as Zendel rightly said, $80,000 is not no small money. That is more than like the 8 months installment for a bus. You cannot owe the bank 3 months, 4 months for your bus. They will come and take it. Nobody cares about the bus driver owing the bank for 8 months because he ain't get $80,000. I support anybody who is owed money, whatever means they choose to protest for their money, whenever they choose to do it. I support them however they choose to protest for their money. You don't want them to choose that action, pay the people their money. Go ahead, Paul.
So I agree in principle that the people who have hired them should pay them their money and should have made some sort of arrangements, even if it's on a particular schedule to repay the money. The excuse, or the reason I should say, that the drivers said that they did not turn up was because of religious observances. Am I wrong?
And mechanical problems.
Well,
and mechanical problems at the same time. Let me finish.
Good.
And mechanical problems, right?
Yeah.
What, Papa? Yeah. So clearly, the actions of the drivers was meant to disrupt the sector for that day, to prove their point that they want their money. Would you agree with that?
Correct.
Right. Is that going to help them in the long run?
I believe so. I believe they won't F around with them and their money going forward because they know they would be embarrassed going forward. It takes a drastic action for people to understand that people are serious and they want the money. If people keep playing nice guy and we doing the right thing and we patient, people will keep exploiting you.
So you have no problem in principle with elements of society, be it be maxi drivers or anybody, disrupting societies for the greater good in their mind.
Yes. I have no problem with that.
Keep in mind, you say that today. So when in the future, groups disrupt society, you have to hush them out.
It's a necessary evil that we need to do.
Right.
We need to sometimes we need to burn tires to get the reaction of okay, we will come and pass the road for you. There's something that we have a system in this country, a method in this country that we just only react until when people get riley. We don't do what we're supposed to do when untimely or fashion when we're supposed to do it. We need to get rowdy, we need to get aggressive for the authorities to do what they're supposed to do in a timely manner. Pardon me?
You need to get rowdy and aggressive, you say, you know.
Yes. But on another topic, Paul, before I know time running out. It had to do with the God, I lost my train of thought.
You get too rowdy.
Oh yes.
You got too rowdy in the moment.
I was supposed to see, we have any program after or you're playing up, we recorded something?
Do something. My throat really not up to it today.
All right. It was something I wanted to discuss with reference. Oh, you know what it was? We need to do a survey. In reference to the death penalty, we need to do a survey. That year of that Ramesh hung the 9 people. I am very curious to the murder rate the year before, the trajectory it was on that year, and after that 9 people got hung.
People have done that. It dipped a bit for a very short time, and then it started back with the upward trajectory.
Mm-hmm. I think it went down to as low as 95 the year after.
And then it quickly went back up after a while, because of course they didn't continue. But surveys around the world have shown that hangings don't necessarily deter serious crime. Eh?
Okay, fine. But our experience is that when that happened, it did dip. So we can't say that. We could say that it affected crime in a positive way.
But Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that because the Privy Council is our final appellate court, we really have no say in that?
I understand that.
Because in principle, the UK is against the death penalty, so the lower lords who align with that are going to stretch it out past the 5-year Pratt and Morgan benchmark.
Yeah, I
So it
understand.
is really out of our hands because we had to ask Uncle England if we could start back hanging.
But it's Uncle England who put the law in the first place.
That's the point. So if we want to change that, we have to remove Uncle England. We have to remove Uncle England as the final appellate court.
England is a mother, not an uncle.
Uncle, auntie, wherever.
Anyway,
uncle, auntie, wherever. All right, man. Have a good day.
Okay, have a good. I say 8 o'clock, so I'll have a good one.
You'll have a wonderful weekend. Be safe.
Of course, it's International Men's Day on Sunday. I saw one of the comments on the stream saying that. So
yes, it is.
Yeah, so congratulations to all men, International Men's Day. Of course, one of the other stories that maybe we could tackle next week is this burgeoning issue with Venezuela and that Essequibo referendum that's, of course, escalating. It's now before, I think, the International Court of Justice. And Venezuela saying they ain't stopping. They're going with a referendum on December 3rd, I think it is, for the Essequibo region in Guyana. It's going to become more and more problematic. It almost seems like Venezuela is taking a note out of what Russia did with their referendum in Crimea, was it? So I don't know where that's going to end up, but it seems to be escalating. So it's something maybe we could tackle next week.
I think I also saw a story trending this morning that that the Biden administration is also looking to withdraw some of the permissions that they would have granted Venezuela if they don't do certain things. I saw that story trending this morning on ABC News.
Yeah.
All right, so folks, have a wonderful weekend. Be careful on the roads. Look out for the young ones and remember to let go and let God.
Yeah, and of course, theater is on this weekend at Sapa, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. Bacchanal, Bubble, and Bad Behavior is on at Sapa this weekend. And of course, tickets are available at the Sapa box office from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. And of course, you can get tickets at the box office or at K-Squared Fashions at C3 Center and Gulf City. Fens of Marabella by the Roundabout, and Creme Fresh at Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. Looking forward to a fantastic 2 shows this weekend. So looking forward to it. We're going to have fun on stage this weekend. You should not miss it. Get your tickets. Great de-stressor. Trust me, you will thank me after the show and say, yes, this really got rid of some of my stress, whatever your stress is in your life. Have a great weekend and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for you.
All right. Thank you so much.